to my channel. I've tried filming this video 3 times, I kid you not. Every single time, the footage just managed to not save or delete. The first time it did not save. Second time, the screen went black and just all that footage gone. Anyways, I want to try and get the story across because I think it's pretty interesting and maybe potentially relatable. I'm gonna hide my background because I had the carpets vacuumed and didn't manage to put all the decor back up, and it looks kind of sad. So, yes, anyways. Yeah, so why I stopped dancing. I stopped dancing about a year ago in April, so yeah, roughly a year ago. And I went out with a bang. I did Swan Lake, I did the White Swan, and that was tons of fun. Honestly, a dream role. I had some other roles that I was like, this is my dream role, and then I was like, nope, yeah, Swan Lake. So, yeah, I went out with Swan Lake, which was wonderful. I had a great experience. I only had one slip up, which honestly, looking back, I'm like, if it was a perfect show, it would have been a bit too perfect. I don't know if that makes sense. It was just satisfying to have like a slip up. It was ironic. My first entrance, I go to do like an arabesque and I slip and slide a bit, and it was funny. At the time, I was like, well, this sucks because it was my last performance and I just slipped on my first entrance, and I was like, well, we're here now and we're gonna make the best of it. So anyways, I might share some footage of that because some parts turned out pretty good. The camera was a bit wide angled and made it look kind of flat. And anyways, we're not talking about that today. We're talking about why I stopped dancing. I stopped dancing mainly because of health reasons, actually. It's funny because it seems like the beginning was actually the end. When I first started, I started out with like barriers to being good. I did not start out being good in any form, shape, capacity. When I started out, I didn't really have much experience with proper ballet. I was put into a class 2 levels below where I should have been, which was really frustrating for me. If I were the director, I would have done the same thing. If anything, I think I would have put myself in an even lower level, but that would have been like really heartbreaking because I was already 2 years older than everyone in my class, and that just felt awful. Anyways, so from the get-go, I was put way below like my age range, and that was disappointing. My second year of dancing at this school, the school that I'm talking about is the Sodre School in Uruguay. It was the National Ballet School. The director has changed ever since, and I liked our director. He was great. But anyways, a year into studying at the school, I went and I was going to audition for a school in Budapest, Hungary, because we were planning on moving there, actually. And at this school, the director told me I'm not good enough, which I definitely was not good enough, but I was also overweight. At this point, I believe, this is a whole other discussion, by the way, but at this point, I think I was around 80 pounds, 82 pounds. I must have been like 5'3" at most, and I was 15. Yes, I was 15, which honestly, it was mid-Europe, heading towards Eastern Europe, and they're a lot more, like, traditional ballet, so okay. But it really messed with me because, I kid you not, like, the next day my whole body just blew up. And I do like to talk about, like, metaphysical health. Your mental, what you're thinking about, actually does manifest, and that was a very obvious moment for me, looking back. Kid you not, next day, blew up. I go back a week into being back home. I got weighed again because we got weighed by a nutritionist at our ballet school. Put on 10 pounds. 10 pounds! 10 kilos, which is like 20 pounds. Overnight. Changed nothing except that I was stressed now, and I knew that I was overweight, even though I was never told that before. That's a whole other discussion, but I don't care about the research. To me, that's a thing. Anyways, so I'm told this. I'm now sad because I'm like, well, ballet sucks because I don't have the body for it, and the lifestyle's terrible, and I'm not good enough anyway, so I'm going to quit. I had that mindset for like a day, And then I was like, no, I'm going to power through. And the reason why I powered through was because I was like, okay, imagine 20 years from now I have kids, they find out I did ballet, and they're like, so you got into a national school having literally no experience, and you just dropped it because one person said you were overweight. That kind of sucks, because then, like, where's my willpower? So that was honestly why I kind of pursued. I was like, you know what does that say about me and my, like, willpower? So instead of just going home and doing the normal classes, what I did was I actually began living alone. Mind you, I'm still 15, and I lived in Montevideo, which at the time was not a safe city. The things I've witnessed happen in that place are interesting. Anyways, so I'm living alone, 15. In the mornings, I would go and take a 2-hour private lesson, and then I would walk 20 minutes to our school and then spend from anywhere between 4 to 8 hours training at the national school. So I really amped up my training, and because I was living alone, not eating well because I was told I needed to lose weight, and that obviously caused a lot of stress in my body, which the next year caused like full breakdown, also because of the black mold poisoning that I had. So everything combined, the next year just everything plummets and crashes. Fortunately, though, the year that I was living alone and training excessively, I graduated top of my class, which was really cool, and I was so excited. But then the next year, like, I just was not good anymore. I was not the best, which understandably I was not doing well in any capacity. Anyways, so yeah, the next year I go back for obviously another year of education, and at this point I have the mold poisoning. I'm completely inflamed. My mental health isn't doing too great in the sense that, like, everything's just foggy, and that's what mold does to you. So I'm trying to go through this, and I don't really know what's happening. I'm like, well, it's just because I'm growing up, probably. So I was just like, whatever, disassociate, try not to look at myself in the mirror, doesn't matter. The next year rolls around, and we moved to Croatia. This is 2020 at this point. So mid-2020, we moved to Croatia. I go to a summer course in Croatia, and this is where I meet the teacher that, like, really, really changes everything about my dancing. At this point, I'm really overweight and just not doing well mentally or physically. I'm beginning to get, like, a bit of joint pain when I stretch. Like, my joints just hurt. And this is all going on. I meet this teacher, and I ask him, can you train me professionally? He was a Vaganova graduate. He was really strict, really good teacher. And he agrees to teach me, and I'm so excited and happy. I think I have a video of me, like, reacting to after he said he would teach me or something. I don't know. I got really excited. Anyways, I begin training with him, and 2 weeks into training with him, I get this eczema on my face. So at this point, I'm like, I'm fat. I wasn't good at ballet. I've got eczema on my face, so I'm ugly now. And my mental health is deteriorating. I feel even more like foggy brain. Everything kind of sucks at this point. I might as well just dedicate myself to ballet because I got this teacher. He's still training me. Might as well just, make the best of it. So I stopped high school. I did not have the mental capacity to do my last year of high school, so I have not graduated high school. I don't finish high school. All I do is train 4 days a week. 4 days a week, that's not a lot. 4 days a week with this teacher, 2-hour private lessons each day. And then when I wasn't training with him, I would go into our garage. I kind of converted it into my own ballet studio, and I would stretch, do a class, do like a workout even. And if I wasn't physically moving, what I would do is I would write down combinations. I would just lay in my bed, literally, visualize myself dancing better. I would draw how it should look to do certain ballet exercises like tendus, like each, let's say, like part, like, like animators where they have the same image but at just different stages. I would do that with like different ballet combinations. and I would binge watch all of the Vaganova exams over and over again. That's all I did. Oh, and I forgot to mention also one other thing is I got like 2 to 4 hours of sleep every single night. I just could not go to sleep. I was just so awake yet exhausted. It was just kind of hell for me at this point. I'm like, what is wrong with me? How did it go from like, I had a great life, I grew up on a farm, to just all of this happening? It was just kind of heartbreaking. I'm like, what do I do? So, obviously not a great situation. A year of this goes by, a year and a couple months actually, I think it was like 14 months. We moved to Serbia because Croatia does not allow American citizens to have a visa for longer than a year. And we moved to Serbia because my ballet teacher, this ballet teacher who was training me in Croatia, he had some connections with a smaller company in Serbia. And he's like, you know what? Just go try it out. He didn't like the way that I physically appeared, obviously, and I could tell. But he's like, you know what? You dance good enough. Just go. So I go there, and there's good news and bad news. They're like, your technique's good. You don't look good. And 100% I would agree. You could not cover with makeup what I had on my face. And obviously I was overweight at that point. So I was like, okay, well, I got one thing down. My ballet technique is better. I need to fix my physical appearance. And I was like, I think the main pivot point was honestly, I'm in a small country. I'm not even at their main ballet company trying out. If this small company won't take me, I don't think there's a single company that would. So I was like, okay, if I want to make something out of this, I need to fix myself. So I began with like mental health. I listened to Alan Watts, and then that got me to Jordan, then Michaela Peterson, and I went on a very strict carnivore diet. Very strict as in I severely reduced my portion size, and I'm not saying to do that. Do not do that. That was not a good move at all. I lost an insane amount of weight in too short a time, and I already had hormonal issues, but this just really made it way worse, to a point where I got, really scared. And it just now, honestly, I'm fixing them. And yeah, that's mainly why I stopped dancing. I was like, if I just dedicated my entire life to dancing, I will continue it this way. But I just wasn't having a good experience. I went back to Croatia a year after feeling better and everything. Feeling better, I just physically looked better. I went back to Croatia and was supposed to do this like grand audition where you go audition at one place, but there's like 5 different people from different companies watching you. And I was kind of deceived when I was preparing for that, so I just walked out and left, and that's when I moved to the U.S. I was offered positions at a couple different places here in the U.S., but the system's pretty different. I wasn't trained for U.S. ballet companies, so I was like, it's all just aligning. So, yes, I guess my point is I didn't see my life being dedicated to ballet only. If I did it, I'd want to be, that is my life. I don't have any life, friends, family, whatever, outside of ballet. It's a type of art where I don't see the purpose unless you give it your all like that, and I didn't want to do that, so that was kind of why I quit. Obviously because of the health issues, I was like, well, if I want to have a family one day, I need to fix myself. So I gained a bit of weight, and that really, really just helped a ton. And then recently I've been doing a lot more supplements and things, and that's also helped. The second thing, which I don't know if I've talked about this a lot, is I dislocated my floating rib. And that was not fun at all. And it's getting better. But, disgusting story, but I was auditioning for a smaller ballet company in Utah, and I wanted to show off my flexibility because I really worked on it, and I was really proud of it. I have a couple videos, like crazy stretching my back on social media. And honestly, I think the way that my rib dislocated was because I came from joint pain to being able to just like do these insane stretches that I was just so, honestly, just overexcited that I could actually do it and not have any pain. So I was able to like really stretch one side of my back, meaning like if I lifted my leg, it could go more on the right side versus the left side. So I just milked that. I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can do a needle. I'm so amazing. I should just keep doing that. So I kept stretching one side more and more. And then I have this like 10-pound bag I carried, probably like 20-pound bag I carried for ballet every day. I carried it on this shoulder. So it was like pulling on the rib, and I'm stretching and pulling on the rib, and it just like hinge door open type of deal, where yeah, when I was auditioning for this company in Utah, I was stretching back and I come up and like out of the corner of my eye, I just see a rib poking out of my stomach, and I'm like, ugh. And I could feel it. It felt like I had like, you know when you step on Lego pieces? That's kind of what it felt like, but in my stomach, and I can see the one rib. It was so gross. So awful. I did all of that. Sorry, I danced my final performance with that rib. And I was pretty careful to not stretch my back too much. It was kind of disappointing because I wanted to go out with a bang, but at the same time, like, I don't want to ruin this more than it is already ruined. So that health overall, and just, yeah, that was kind of why I stopped. I'm doing a lot better now. I've been able to fix my health, or at least I'm on the right path now. My rib is doing a lot better as well. It used to, you could see it pointing out, and now it's like back. I'm working with a chiropractor and it looks pretty good, so I'm excited about that. But yeah, honestly, that's why I stopped dancing ballet. I don't know if all of that is relatable. However, I'm sure some parts of it are. If there are any parts of the story you want me to expand upon, feel free to ask me. I find it interesting just talking sometimes and just kind of reminiscing. I don't regret my decision in any way. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, I want to go to a studio, and I still go to a studio every once in a while. It's just disappointing because I can't dance to my full capacity, because I got to a certain level and I was able to do stuff, and now I'm like, well, I don't want to do that, partially because of my rib, partially because I'm not training as much. So it is a bit disappointing. However, that's life. So yeah, that's my story. I guess if you're interested more about ballet overall, or anything really, feel free to ask me. I do want to make more resourceful videos about just like overall mindset. A lot of stuff that I've achieved has been through like proper mindset and honestly research, visualization, all that fun stuff. So I'd love to get a bit more into that. And then fun crafty stuff. I love crafting, so yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too depressing. It was kind of like a sad sob story for a bit of it. I did dance one leg. That's exciting. I might share some clips. I might react to it too. Maybe not. But yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you have a good rest of your day wherever you are. Also, if I find the clip of me reacting to when my ballet teacher told me he would teach me, I'll include it because it was pretty funny.